Dom, what's the deal?
What's the deal?
Not much, man. It's good to have you here, bro.
Good to be here. Yes, sir.
For sure. So, what you been up to? You been all right?
Been all right, man. Just working on this next project, Red Rum 2.
Okay.
Dropping it soon.
Okay. All right. So since this your first time here, we gonna feel me take it all the way back. You can just let me know where you from and what was your childhood like.
From Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. Childhood was pretty crazy, man. It was like a lot of growing up to do, say. I was always the misfit, man. I was looked at as like, man, that kid weird type shit. And I could never understand it. I was just like, damn, why am I always getting like bullshitted on at the same time? And I'm like, damn, man, like, I just finally came to terms with it just because I just thought different from people and shit. So it's just like, it didn't really come to me until I started creating. And then people like to see what I created and shit. And it was just like, damn. They're like, okay, I see what you be thinking. I'm like, yeah, this is what I be thinking of and shit, where I'll be trying to like judge me and shit. So I think now they're starting to see it though.
Okay. So you feel like you was like an outcast, you would say, growing up?
For sure, outcast, for sure. That's what I make music for. I make music for the misfits, like people who would like just feel like they really don't have nowhere to go, and they just like, damn, I just need somebody. Like, yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you feel like you started to embrace the misfit role? Like,
I just started to embrace it. At first, I was trying to run from it and like disguise it, and like only talk to certain people. But it got to a certain point, I'm just like, man, fuck it, bro. I'm Red Rum, and I just came to terms with it. Like, you either gonna love me or you gonna hate me. Shit.
Okay. All right. So take me to Red Rum, like the name. Where did that come from?
Well, shit. My full name is Jalen Rumley. So
Okay.
I shortened it. It was like J Rum when I first started rapping in college. And then I had an alter ego. I got it from like Slim Shady and, Tyler Creator, Nicki Minaj and shit like that. They had an alter ego. So I was like, okay, Red Rum. That shit just clicked. But then when I went to Hollywood and shit, I was out there for like half a year.
Okay.
And the first person I met was Smoke Perp. I met him the second day I was out there. And shit, he was just like, hey man, he was like, so you make music on GarageBand. I was showing him all my music. I showed him the first Red Rum project. And then he was like, Red Rum, okay. So when he left, he was like, all right, I see you, Red Rum. And that's all he was sticking in his mind. I was just thinking, I'm like, damn, like it's catchy. So now I was like, fuck it, I'm just be Red Rum.
For sure. All right. So like you going to Hollywood, what did you go out there in the hopes of like chasing music and them type of?
I went out to Hollywood for networking and mainly that. When I went out there, I paid like most of the money I was in my account to stay at this hostel because it's expensive out there, bro. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got a month to get a job, and by the end of the month, I had 2. I was working at Chick-fil-A and Target. So yeah, I stayed out there for half a year, and I came back when the pandemic hit.
Okay.
So if it weren't for that, I'd probably still be out there. Okay.
Okay. So like, shit, I done been to LA only once for real. I was out there about a week, but it's way different than Detroit. Like, what type of just what type of experiences was you going like just
out there in LA?
Yeah,
man, LA is exactly what you think it is. It'll swallow you whole if you don't got no blueprint. And I was damn near at ends meet out there and shit. I had them days where I'm just like, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then it'd be other days where I'm like, okay, I'm on it. Like, I know what I'm doing. I get some motivation. Like, I start meeting celebrities and shit. I met Tyler the Creator, Chinese Kitty, Pink Sweats, seen Johnny Knoxville. I seen Will Ferrell. What's his name? 24K Gold. Before, yeah, we was on the XXL cover. That's one more person I'm forgetting. Oh, Marlon Wayans. I met him when I was working on my third job out there. When I was working at it's a Kroger out there called Rouse. And he was like, hey, man, you need more chicken left? And I'm not even looking. I'm just like, yeah, I think it's some Marlon Wayans. He's like, yeah, man, y'all got any more chicken left? I was like, shit, we got some over there. But, man, I've been watching you since I was a kid. And I'm a big fan. I appreciate what you're doing. I tried to dap him up. He was like, oh, nigga, Corona. And then just like, gave me a foot shake. He was like, all right. I was like, damn, bro. So, like, that shit would be inspiring me. I'm like, okay, I'm out here. You have them days. You down there forget you out there until you walk outside. Like, oh, yeah, shit, I'm in Hollywood. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, I about to say shit. That's it's really just like that. You just meeting niggas you been seeing your whole life just at the grocery store.
Man, I'm like, bro. Oh yeah, Lil Nas X, I met him too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Was that? I'm assuming that's after Old Town Road, right? It
It's
was
at
already
the
out.
Old Town Road, and it's before Montero.
Okay.
So he had this alien hoodie on. And I remember I asked him something, but it was just some bullshit just to talk to him. I was just like, hey man, so how it feel being like, where you at? And he was just like, I don't know. And I was just like trying to make conversation just so like, you know, because I believe in energy and shit. So I'm like, if I just can make a connection type shit. And then if they remember me, shit, they remember me.
Okay. All right. So like, out of all of them, who would you say was like your most memorable meeting?
Tyler the Creator.
Okay.
When I met him, it was funny because they had these little clothing shops in alleyways and shit out there. And I'm on Melrose. And I originally started going to Melrose, so I was looking for Adam for No Jumper. But the whole time while I was out there, he wasn't there. He was either out of town or he had moved the shop. But it was a shop it was this little clothing shop that was going on. And I seen this passageway, and Tyler Creator walked past, and people was just whispering, like, oh my God, I think that's how that's. And I'm like, man, fuck that shit. I'm not whispering. I'm about to go say something. So I went up to him. He was going to a bike shop. I walked in, and I was just like, hey, man, Tyler. I was like, man, I'm a big fan. Igor was one of the best albums of the year. I appreciate you, man. You definitely inspired me. He's just like, man, yeah, thank you. I was like, hey, man, yo, can I get a picture? He was like, man, we're taking no pictures right now. I was like, damn. Yeah, but I understood it because I already know how that shit is. Like, that's just like fucking needle in a haystack. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll see you at the top. So he was like, all right. He didn't really give a fuck. He was just like,
For sure. Okay, so like listen to your music. I could see you fucking with Tyler. Like it's kind of like you could see it. What artists would you say influenced you the most?
Definitely, I would say Kanye, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott, and XXX for sure.
Okay.
Eminem for sure too. Yep.
Okay.
That was my top. And Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Them all heavy hitters really.
Yeah. I like just like Kanye's artistry. I love his inspiration and his drive. Kendrick Lamar's lyricism. Eminem's like his creativeness and how he can like just not give a fuck about what he say. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's real. And I know like coming from Detroit, that's like it can be really hard because it's like we kind of have like people have an idea of what the sound from Detroit should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so do you ever feel like, well, how do you feel about not having a traditional Detroit sound?
Well, shit, that shit is hard, bro, because like you said, it's a certain sound that everybody wants to hear. So when I go into like maybe a strip club or just I perform at a local Detroit performance, they don't want to hear that shit. Like they just like, okay, they get it. Okay, you got the energy, but I don't want to hear this shit. And I understand because it's like if let's say Tyler Creator were to perform in Detroit, he can't just go anywhere. They would be like, man, turn this shit off. But if you go a certain place, like a certain crowd where it's at, you know, you gotta find your audience.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been learning and shit. Then, boom, then they'll start fucking with it. So, like, I started performing at house parties and shit, like in the suburbs. And when I start playing my shit, they was like, hell yeah. I'm like, okay, so I'm not tripping.
Okay.
So, yeah, I actually like performing at house parties better than, you know, just on a stage and shit like that, because it's more intimate and shit. They right there in your face and they feel what you saying.
Yeah, no, I feel that shit. House parties get crazy though,
bro.
What's like you performing at parties? I'm sure you just seen something. Like, what's the craziest thing that happened at a party you've been performing at?
The craziest shit happened at a party where I was performing at. I would have to say it was like a couple white hoes that kept on like trying to like rub on me and shit while I was performing. I did, seeing them on people's shoulders and shit while I was performing. That's like, it was crazy as fuck to me. You know, everybody there ain't sober, man. They off Molly, man. They off the drink, but it's just like a good vibe. Though. I say that's the craziest so far.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's real shit. So, all right, back to because I didn't want to get past this. Do you feel like people in the city overlook you sometimes because you don't have that traditional Detroit sound?
For sure. Because they don't know and they're not looking for it. That's why I'm gonna break the damn barriers down. I'm gonna make sure all the damn misfits, I'm gonna get Detroit a new fucking sound to where it's not just gonna be, okay, we only wanna hear this. I'm gonna start making motherfuckers wanna listen to different shit.
Okay.
Or some like melodic shit, man. My shit is rock. This shit is, it's really alternative, but it's like you got lo-fi. Like I do it all, bro.
Okay. All right. So yeah, like keep going with that. How would you describe your style of music?
And my sound, it's like, of course, you got the hip hop because I studied that, but I also studied rock and roll. I studied metal, not as much, but a little bit. I heard some country songs, not really into it, but it's not that bad. Lo-fi music, I definitely studied that. That's more like, that's like the chill shit. I don't know if you ever got into that. And yeah, that's the best way I can describe mine. It's more, I got party music. I got some fucking like T-Pain type shit. Yeah. That's the best way I can describe. I'm like a Detroit T-Pain.
I feel it. I mean, cause I know, like, cause I've been listening for like past couple days. Like, you can even hear like some of the Future in there. Like,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, the Future, he the GOAT too. Future definitely the GOAT.
All right, so we gonna get a little like we gonna start getting into the music, and like
bring me the questions, man. Bring me the questions, bro.
For sure. So anybody I feel like that has listened to a lot of your music, they see a pattern pretty soon. Like, I'm pretty sure you talk about your life, and you have the women. Like, women is a big factor in like a lot of your songs, and you just talk about what you gone through with them. You talk about heartbreak. You talk about doing bitches however. You feel me? It's always a balance. So, but I feel like what I noticed is like after you listen through the projects, it's like you was in a different space. Each one. Like, so hold on.
That's how it's gotta be, bro. I make my projects as if it's my last. And I'm really just venting how I'm feeling. And however it comes out, comes out. So I believe like shit is destiny. So I started with a heartbreak and I just kind of figure out, I'll show you how dark it gets. But then I'll bring you out because I know it's hard to get out of that space. I'll show you another option. So, hell yeah, all my shit is definitely about that, man. I say, yeah, my music is about like, shit, my relationships for real. Yeah.
Okay. And I want to talk about Delorean because like you narrate that album.
Yeah.
And it's like, so by the time you get to the end, you didn't experience the whole story.
Man, thank you for listening too.
Of course. I wouldn't even feel right doing this shit if I did it. Like that'd be foul to me. But so like what went into making that decision? Because I know you shouted out Kendrick and that you fuck with him, and I know that's something that he does sometimes. And like I know I've heard Logic do that a couple times, like narrating the album. But like you had a story to tell. What went into that decision?
Shit, it was my first album, so I wanted to tell it right, and I felt like I wanted it to be different. And I haven't really been hearing many albums like that in a while when people just narrating it. So I wanted to do something. I'm always trying to think outside the box. Like when I was making Delorean, I told the producer, I was like, just have fun with it. Like the engineer, I'm like, I want this to be different. So I want you to even do shit that you're not even used to. So when it came to like skits and having somebody narrate, I was like, that just feels more home. It feels more personal. So like the listener can really connect and feel like they in tune with the story. So
yeah, no, for sure. I feel like as far as that go, like you accomplish it for sure if anybody takes the time to listen to the album from start to finish.
Right.
You definitely leave it with a complete story.
Yeah, that's why like I did the first album and then I did a deluxe version because I felt like it was more to tell. And then, but for the second album, I had the same person who did Juice WRLD's cover for Goodbye Good Riddance. He did the cover art.
Okay.
So I just wanted it to really feel like it was like a lot of artists putting into something. I wanted to really have collaborators for that shit. It's my first album, so yeah.
No, I feel it. And like in one of the songs, you said, "I wish I could be a kid one more time."
Yeah.
What's some things you wish you knew growing up that you know now?
Damn, that's a good question. Some things I wish I knew as a kid that I know now is
Or even just before you started making music?
mm, to just be yourself and don't trust everybody. Uh, be more experimental in yourself. Like really try to figure out who you are, type shit. Um, yeah, man. Just watch who you're around at the same time, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as what I would want to know.
Okay. All right, and most recently you had you released your Playboy EP.
Mm-hmm.
And like me, you know, listening to all the projects like in the order that they came, it's like this is what I was talking about. It's like you gave us the heartbreak, you gave us how you was like how you was dealing with that and how you was trying to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like the Playboy EP, it's like this where you at now.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That Playboy was mainly like, fuck it. Like, I didn't try the relationship shit. I was searching for it. Now I'm back on my bullshit. And that's why I just start off with international hoes. Then you go to different, like I'm just different now on gang. I'm with my fam and shit like that. So, yeah. Like, if you notice on Delorean, I was really pushing a lot of female artists on the project.
Yeah, it was.
So then it was just like, it really gave that aesthetic of a woman's energy on it. Versus when I did Playboy, it was just like, okay, these my niggas. Like, we about to just turn up in this bitch. So, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yep. My cousin told me about it though, cause he was like, man, you should do an EP before, cause I was gonna drop Red Rum 2.
Mm.
But like, I didn't really know when, but he was like, man, within that time, you should drop a little EP. And I was like, damn, what I'm gonna call this shit? How I'm feeling? It's like, I feel like a Playboy.
Okay.
So boom.
And it kind of feels like this EP came with like a whole image. Like it was more of just the music. Like it was you.
Yeah.
Like it was like, cause you've had the red and black shirt. You feel me? You even mentioned that in one of the songs. Like who is this nigga red and black shirt every time? So, you know, I had to bring this up. Like what went into the shirt? Just tell me about the shirt.
Man, the shirt, it's like a stamp, bro. It's an image. It's like, I'm not gonna always wear it, but for right now, it's definitely catching the eye and shit like that. So I know, like, in a couple of years and shit, they gonna remember, like, damn, he always had that shirt on. That's when I first saw him and shit like that. It's gonna be like history and shit. Like when you always look at Tyler Creator, you remember he had that hat on. He was wilding and shit like that. Or you look at Eminem, like remember he was goofy and silly, and he was. It's like it's a little image and shit like that.
Okay.
I always look at my music and my persona as like, if I'm not me, how do I look? And for this Playboy, I really wanted to give him that, to where it's like, okay, I'm at that level, so I need to give him something to look at.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, you know, what The Weeknd did with his latest album. How he wore that.
The Weeknd definitely inspirational. Yeah. So yeah, got the black and red shirt, man. Won't be surprised if you start seeing people having this shit too.
Okay. Yeah, man, you gotta drop your own some merch.
Get some merch out. Okay, I'll think about it. Just give me some ideas.
For sure. All right, so what do you feel like you'll be doing if it wasn't music?
If it wasn't music, I would be doing acting. Cause I like shit. Like I said, I like to sing and shit and do all that shit with music. But at the same time, I had a passion for acting before I did this, and I was actually aspiring to be like a comedian type shit at one point. But then I started to dial back on that, and I was just like, man, I don't think it's gonna get me there as fast as I want to get. And how many comedian musicians you know? So I was like, okay, I didn't really go too heavy into where people really know me like that, so I can still do this music thing. And then jump into that lane and shit like that, like all some Childish Gambino type shit, some Donald Glover shit. So when I switch over, I probably go back to my name when I'm acting. And then, like, for the music shit, just keep it at Red Rum.
Out of all the songs you dropped so far, if it was somebody who hadn't heard of Red Rum at all, what's the first song you send it to them to get them hip?
To get them hip, it would probably be Cookie, though. with Bianca Bad.
Okay.
That's a raw ass song. Most of the females love that song, and shit. Every time we perform that bitch, they go up. Like even like at the Detroit places and shit, they love Cookie Dough. So I say that's a good introduction and shit. Shout out to Bianca Bad too.
For sure. Shit, shout out to anybody else if you want.
Man, shout out my cuz Bugs. He didn't really got me hip and shit. Started teaching me shit. Man, shout out to Chris, the engineer. Shout out my boy Kills. Shout out Pete. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For sure. And something else I noticed, like, that a lot of artists around your level don't really think about right now, you have management.
Mm.
So what would you say is, like, the importance of management right now for, like, an up-and-coming artist?
The importance is to make sure you're being managed by the right people and that they really care for what you're doing and that they're really in your best interest, and to read what you signing, bro, like, and to really just understand that you have to have a good connection with who you're working with, because if you just dive into the shit and then trust anybody, it's gonna backfire on your ass. So yeah.
Okay. All right, and some I just personally wanted to ask you about, because I know, like, some rappers usually when they do this, or just artists or entertainers, anything, like the face tats. Was that when you started music, or was that before?
This was after I started music.
Okay.
Because before I was just in this bitch like, okay, I want to be a comedian. He wasn't thinking about none of that shit. But like, the more I got into it, and the more I started thinking like, bro, like, tomorrow is not promised, man. And if you want to, do you want to face tattoo? I was like, hell yeah. And it wasn't really for an image thing. I really just got addicted to tattoos, bro. Like, I love tattoos. So, yeah. And then once I became an artist, I was just like, fuck it. I seen artists with face tattoos. I was like, I can do that shit.
Yeah, that's for sure. I know, like, a lot of people, that's like the moment when they tell themselves, like, I'm in this shit now.
Yeah, I'm in this shit, for real.
For sure. All right, so where do you see yourself in the next year?
In the next year, I see myself with a broader audience. I see myself with a viral hit. And I see a lot of people hit me up trying to collab.
Okay.
Yeah, in about a year. Yeah. After I drop Red Rum 2, I'm gonna really just be focusing on performances and shit. And I'm gonna take a break next year, because I gave y'all niggas 3 projects, man. I gave y'all the Delorean Deluxe this year. I gave y'all Playboy, and I'm about to give y'all Red Rum 2 next month, October 29th.
Okay. All right, y'all heard it here first. October 29th, Red Rum 2 will be here.
Yes, sir.
For sure, that's what's up. I love when the news is first dropped on the platform.
Yep. They gonna hear it here first.
For sure. All right, so we gonna get a couple rapid questions before we get up out of here.
All right, bet.
Give me 2 things that people might not know about you just from listening to your music.
2 things they don't know.
It could be 1 if you don't got 2, but.
All right. Let's see. People do not know that I'm very spiritual. Like, I really believe in the yin yang and destiny and shit. That's what I got tatted on my face. Yin yang and shit. I really believe in balance and stuff. Also, people do not know. For me, let's see. They don't really know what I'm about to do. Shit.
Okay.
I mean, but about myself, man, I'll say that's about it. Because I give my all in my fucking music. I pretty much tell my whole fucking story. So it ain't too much that they don't know unless they just not listening.
Yeah, I was about to say, you pretty open in the music. That's why it wasn't too hard for me to come up with some questions.
Yeah, man, because I believe, like I said, every project counts. And I treat it like it's my last. So I'm like, okay, I'm making this. And we don't know what can happen and shit. Like, so I give my all. So, yeah.
Okay.
Listen to my music and you understand me.
What's your favorite project of yours that you've dropped so far?
Damn. My favorite project I dropped so far is Delorean, the deluxe version. That shit hype as hell, because it's like mellow, and then it just peak at the end, and it's just It's yeah, that shit.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to leave with the people before we get up out of here? Let them know the next moves.
Next move is to take over. This is the interview right before shit hit the fan. Be on the lookout for Red Rum 2. It's about to get real.
For sure. All right. Well, as always, if you're still watching this long into the video, make sure you go check out all the links to Red Rum in the description and like and subscribe. And we catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.